right after Cindy, so that you know. So let's give her attention. Cindy is, thank you for not talking. Cindy is going to share with us a tool that she and Love Carpenter had formulated that is going to bring the training that Amy Neal did to the next level and help us stay organized with it.
Okay. This is the day I wish I had 3 hands. Y'all hear me? You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay, I'll talk really loud. How many of you value your business? How many of you value your family time? How many of you feel like you have the perfect balance between the two? Nobody. How in the world do we accomplish great things in business and still take care of our children, our husbands, our home, and everything else? Unfortunately, there is no perfect answer, but I would like to give you some helpful hints. So in the next few minutes, I want to share with you how I impact all areas of my business, from personal to personal team and directors and their teams. In addition, I'm going to share a gift that I give my directors to keep them organized in their business. And finally, a change that I made in my business to impact growth in developing others. You ready? Yes. I'm so excited. I thought by the time I get up here, you guys would all be ready for a nap. So I'm excited you have energy. Woo! Okay, first, Stephen Covey says you have to put the big rocks in first. So what, oh, I got an amen, all right. What does that mean? That means prioritize. What are the big rocks in your life? Now, for most of us, that's our families and our business. So you really have to prioritize your big rocks first. So make sure that family time is family time and business time is business time. Having a plan for both your business time and your personal time is the first step, okay? Sometimes that is a struggle to remember, and sometimes it's a struggle to remember everything that needs to be done in a month, in a week, or even a day. And I find that if I have a plan, if you have a plan, it'll really help you to prioritize and accomplish what you intend to in the time that you have. So first, you need to designate your work time. Now, I personally have scheduled office time Monday through Friday, and for me, that looks like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and I really do prefer to work from a paper calendar. I didn't bring mine up here, but I use the Franklin Covey calendar. Anybody else out there like that? Great, I'm the only one. Oh, wait, one person back there. All right. But it sits out on my desk, and I do color code my calendar because your eye actually recognizes color first. So I highlight, and I teach my team to do this as well on our welcome call, but I highlight office time for the week in orange, and it's easy to remember because O is orange for office. Pink is P for personal. Blue is B for business building, which is trainings, conference calls, etc. Now, I realize that all of us in this room are not in the same life stages, but I'm sure some of you can relate to this on some level, the stage that I am in. And my kids one is going to be 7 next week, my baby, and then I have a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. So I really do try to maximize my daytime hours while they are at school. And I really need to devote the evenings that I'm not doing trainings or shows to my family. And I'm really okay with that as long as I'm maximizing my office time and being productive. Now, in addition, I heard Penny talk about this today, but I schedule myself off too. You go, girl. I schedule myself off on the weekends. That is family time. And I might do some catching up in the office a little bit, but it is never outgoing email or phone calls to my team because I want my family to see that it's okay to work hard in business, but that you do not have to be available 24/7. But I also want my team to see that you can be an executive director in Pampered Chef and have balance in your life. Now, once you've designated your office time, the next step is to organize your to-do list. Now, I use the company's Planning Your Month page. Has anybody ever seen this? I love this tool. This is like one of my favorite things. So I'm going to tell you where you can find it in a second. You can actually find it in your leadership handbook, or you can go on Consultants Corner. If you go under the Download Center, then go to Leadership Handbook, you'll find it. It's called Planning Your Month. Now, I've personalized it with what I do on a recurring basis every single month, which encompasses both my personal business and my team business. So just to give you some examples, on the 3rd of the month, I send a handwritten note to all green directors from the previous month. So if their team went green in the previous month, they get a handwritten note from me. On the 10th of the month, I have written down my planning session. On the 17th, I have written down to send out the team recognition report. And then on the 31st, I have written down that I post clarification and quick tip script for the next month on our director's Facebook page. Does anybody here know what I mean by clarification and quick tip? Okay, let me just share this really, really quick, and thank you, Becky Ishii. She shared this at Exec Seminar and our 1-minute sharing back in September, and my directors hopefully will give me a holler if this changed your business. This is a little script that you give yourself every month to call and give a quick tip to your team and do a clarification. So, for example, last month it was, I can't remember what my quick tip was, but I remember just an example. The clarification was, did you know that your host could apply their discount to the sale price of the stoneware? A lot of them do not didn't know that. And a quick tip could be, if you're making peanut butter cookies, did you know that you can use your stackable cooling rack to flip over and press down? You don't have to stand there with a fork. You know. Oh, see? Aren't you glad you came to this retreat just for that? I know, it's the little things in life. Okay, so that would be your fun little script that you have for the month, and it gives you an excuse to call every single person on your team, and you're not calling and saying, so do you have a show going in this month? You're just calling to give them a quick tip and just a clarification. And you cannot imagine how many people are just so appreciative that you called them. And, you know, there are months that I can tell you that every single person in our entire organization has been called and contacted. Can you imagine the difference or the impact that would make on your teams? Okay, so that's clear. So thank you, Becky Ishii, for that. Now, I transfer what is on the list for the week because this Planning Your Month page is broken down into your 4 weeks. So then I transfer what is on there for the week onto my calendar. Oh wait, I lost my spot. This is why I need 3 hands. Yeah, transfer it to the week for the week on my Franklin Covey calendar, which I already told you stays open on my desk. So if you're more mobile and you have your calendar on your phone or your iPad, then input it there weekly, whatever works for you. Then I know what I need to accomplish for the week, and then I can plug it into the time slots that I have on my calendar for office time, okay? And I really like using a calendar with time slots throughout the day for scheduling phone appointments and interviews and things like that. And then in addition, below your appointments list for the day, there is a to-do list or spots where you can write your to-dos, and that's where I plug in my weekly tasks to be completed from that planning sheet. And if it doesn't get done on the designated day, because it does happen, life gets in the way, then my goal is to cross it off by week's end, okay? Now, in addition to my calendar, I keep a clipboard on my desk. There you go. I'm very cutting edge. There's Sally. My cutting edge clipboard. Let's see. I told you I need more hands. But I keep my clipboard on my desk, and that has my Planning Your Month page on it. It also has my team communication log that you can print from your reports on Consult Connection, and also any of the reports that I print on my planning day. And I'll reference these when I'm making team calls and record all communication for the month on my team communication log. And I like this because it really lets me see at a glance who has not yet been contacted. And I'm going to share with you a great little tip you can do with your team communication log is go through and highlight. And see there's like a, oh, bless you, line running. I'm so rude, I didn't even bless you. There's a line running down. You highlight each Monday in the month, so that way you can look at a glance and see if there's anybody that you haven't, touched base with in the week or in the month. All right, now team communication really is a huge part of what we do as directors and above. And as your team grows, this really is most likely where you're going to spend the majority of your time. However, I find this really can be the hardest aspect of our work routine to manage. So what I have found is to be the most effective for me is to schedule support calls on my daily calendar. And it really works better for me when I have control over the contact with my team. So by scheduling calls with them, they realize that both their time and my time are important. And in addition, by modeling this business practice, I am also teaching them how to be a business owner. I never leave a support call without scheduling the next contact. Now for some that might be after every show, it might be once a week, or it might be once a month, depending on their individual needs. Now most new consultants and personal team performers support calls are scheduled based on their show schedule, kind of what Amy was just talking about. And touching base with them after the show is what allows me to update their trackers that Amy just talked about and really impact the contacts that they had just made at the show the night before. Now for my director team, I typically schedule their support calls once a month with them unless they request more support in the month. So it's really up to them. I have tried other systems of staying in contact with my team, and this is really just what works for me, scheduling those times, because then they don't fall through the cracks, and I do not go, I'm sure that I'm the only one in the room this has ever happened to, but I just don't go weeks without noticing I haven't talked to somebody, or months. Yeah, I knew I was the only one. Okay, I really feel like I am more productive with my time when support calls are scheduled. And then in between those daily coaching appointments I have during my office time, I can kind of knock off things on my to-do list, or I'll check my team communication log and see, well, who have I not contacted yet in the month for their clarification and quick tip, and make those outbound support calls. Now, besides my calendar and my cutting-edge clipboard, another organizational tool that I use and that I teach all directors in our organization to use on a daily basis is what I call the Green and Growing binder. Love it. And really, truly, the title of this binder was born from the idea that it really does include everything that your team or your directors need to be green and growing. Okay? And it basically grew out of the need to make sense of all of the incredible support materials that Home Office introduced in conference of 2010. I don't know if any of you remember when all of this first came out, and it's like, what are we supposed to do with all this? Anybody else out there felt that? Again, I was probably the only one. But anyway, so it really kind of was born out of that, trying to make sense of all these materials. And the binder is basically set up in RSVP order. Do we all know what that is? Yes? Okay, so it's kind of like your recruits, your very new people, your performers. So I might need somebody to kind of hold this for me. Okay, so it is set up in RSVP order, okay? And all of this is going to be, I believe, on Nancy Jo's website. There's tabs, okay? And your first tab is your daily recruit lead calls, okay? Your daily recruit lead contacts, because you go to your shows and you generate those recruit leads. And then behind that is all of the Home Office material that you need to support your recruit leads. So you've got your Join Us booklet and your Discover Us booklet right there in a little protective sleeve. Then your recruit leads turn into your new consultant. So behind the new consultant tab, you have all of your new consultant records. You have your Succeed With Us booklet that we use to do all of our support calls with our team, and then any, the Achieve With Us and any other support materials that you need for them. Then your new consultants are going to go into your Grow With Us interviews, right? So behind there, there's our Grow With Us 3-step leader tracker, all your support materials for the Grow With Us interview, and then in your protective sleeve is your Grow With Us booklet. Then from there, we have a tab for maybe different programs that you might run. We have the Step Up tab, we also have Destination Director materials, which were from Director Express. So those tabs would be whatever programs you're using, you know, to work with those people that want to promote to director. And then we have a tab that has for their support call with me. So they would keep behind their own personal trackers, the directors, so they know they have it ready for me when we do our call, their 3-month action plan. And then we also have a tab for our director training, because my directors know this is kind of really like our Bible. So they have their schedule for director trainings for the year, and any materials that come out of the director training is all right there. So that's that. Oh. So all new, thank you very much for holding that for me. All new directors in our organization get one of those as a gift when they promote. And just to let you know, it costs to put these together. I initially did it for everybody in our organization, and then for each new director, it'll probably cost you for all the materials about $10 to put one of these together. Money well spent. But really, truly, it is, you know, you hand it to them when they promote, and then I actually have a pre-recorded call that explains the binder and how to use it, which is just kind of what I just explained to you, and, you know, the order of the materials and all of that. And the reason I recorded it is it's really one less training that you'll have to repeat over and over. And tech-savvy people could probably, actually somebody did record it and put it on YouTube, and I think we're sending you the link for that as well. So you could actually send, there you go, I just saved you a training call recording. I forgot about that. So really, truly, my director team does bring this to every director training. It's like our Bible. And I do reference the binder and the materials on our support calls, especially that Grow With Us section and the Grow With Us 3-step leader tracker, because we want to discuss who they are tracking on their team. And this binder really is their go-to to keep their teams green and growing. Sound good? Okay. Now, one of the biggest changes I made this year with working with my team was really implementing the Grow With Us system that Amy just trained you guys on. Are you excited about that? Yes. Now, I had been using it. I've been doing the interviews. I've trained my director teams as well, but I was not using it to its fullest potential. And there's really 2 areas that I tweaked that have really made a difference for me. And the first was, and I'm so glad that Amy kind of talked about this today, is when I was doing the Grow With Us interviews, I found I was really scaring my team members away when I got to that question that she told everybody to mark out. Because, you know, that was really freaking them out when I'd say, okay, so when do you want to plan a promotion to director? And, you know, then I never heard from them again. But I found that if I simply hold the interview and just mark it, the tracking system and touching base after every show as a chance for them to just grow their business and get more instead of approaching it as promoting to director. So thank you, Amy, for clarifying that this is not just a promote to director tool. Then they were a lot more receptive to tracking and show-based coaching, and using that approach has helped me to recently promote 2 team leaders who are well on their way to promoting to director. Yay. And then the second thing that I tweaked is, you know, when Amy trained the executive team this past September using the 3-step Grow With Us system, I also realized that I was missing a vital step. And when you go on and listen to the call that's on the training, you'll hear it on there, but it's the month-end stats review. So I was tracking my team members' numbers in step 3, and using that 90-day tracker, but I was really not doing a good job of reviewing their month-end numbers with them. And I really think this is a crucial, crucial step, because the numbers do not lie. They tell a story. And recently, on a coaching call with an upper-level director on my team, when I asked who she was tracking, she told me about her team member, and she assured me that this person was giving out enough recruiting information to people at her shows, but that she really just was not generating recruit leads. So I suggested that we look at her month-end numbers. And after evaluating them together and totaling them up, so okay, how many people was she in front of in the month? How much information did she give out? All the total numbers for the month. But after looking at them, we realized that she was giving out, you know, enough information, as well as, you know, scheduling the numbers of, she was giving out the information, and the number of interviews that she was scheduling were in line with the percentages of the third, the third, the third. But where she was missing the mark was that she was not in front of enough people in the month to generate the number of recruit leads she wanted to reach her goal. Does that make sense? Okay, so the month-end numbers were able to show us that she really needed to work on her host coaching to increase her show attendance and in turn increase her recruit leads. So this was really eye-opening for my advanced director to see that and see the impact of examining those numbers to determine where her team member really did need support. So marketing the Grow With Us a little bit differently and really focusing on those month-end numbers has allowed me to use the Grow With Us system a lot more effectively. So I've shared with you how I use my calendar and my to-do list to impact my personal and my team business. The green and growing binder, that is the gift that keeps our director team on track, and some tips on using the Grow With Us tracking system to impact growth. But one final tip. We all have more to accomplish in the day, any given day than 24 hours will allow. And if we want to stay small in business, be frustrated, tired, and overwhelmed on a regular basis, then we should continue to try to do it all on our own. If not, then swallow your pride and start surrounding yourself with people that can take on some of your responsibilities. You do not want to spend your time picking up dimes and end up leaving dollar bills behind. Delegate what you can and focus on your income-producing activities, which is time making your business and your team contacts. Sometimes we don't think that the little things add up. It seems just like an hour here or an hour there, but they absolutely do, and they can wear you out. So you do not have to do it all. John Maxwell says in his book, Today Matters, that the secret to your success and my success is determined by your daily agenda. I hope that you now feel more empowered to take control of that agenda, take care of the big rocks in your life, and leave the dimes behind.